Hey everybody, welcome back to Money and Music. I am Doc. Today we're going to be listening to some heavy hitters in the finance and music industry.
If you can buy a soda, you can invest.
We own hip hop, but we don't own rap music.
What's the cliche statement? If you hang around 5 rich people, you'll be the 6th.
I listen to his music because he's talking about, hey, how much farther he wants to go.
And I tell people in my business, I turn dreamers into doers.
Welcome back to Money and Music. I'm your host, Doc Fuller, and today we have some excellence in the room, some financial excellence. We have the first vice president of Citizens Trust Bank, one of the oldest Black-owned banks in the country, actually. So today I'd like to welcome you to Eric Wilson. Eric, thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, Doc.
Yeah, so as first VP of Citizens Trust Bank, tell us a little bit more about Citizens Trust Bank and your role.
Bank itself has been around. Actually, this is our 100th year anniversary this year. We were organized back in 1921 by a couple of businessmen who probably, like some of us, went into a majority institution and weren't able to get the type of service and the products that they needed. So they decided to create it themselves. So since that time, over 100 years, we've helped to build wealth in the African-American community here in Atlanta and Birmingham, Alabama. And my role at the bank currently is I manage the commercial banking team. So we do all types of lending to investors that want to buy income-producing properties like apartment buildings, office buildings, things like that. We even do financing for religious organizations. So we do, the bank has a huge Black church portfolio,
okay.
In addition to hotels and other types of anything that is owned by an entity is considered commercial.
Okay.
So even if it is a portfolio of single family homes that someone may own, but they own it in a business name,
right?
Then that will be a part of the commercial line of business as well. So we really help to build wealth on my line of business, because once you come to us, you've probably already purchased your primary residence, things like that. So we help to take you to that next level.
So from a commercial lending standpoint, right, I would assume that would be like strip malls and things of that sort, pretty much anything that's commercial.
That's right.
And so, like, how does someone get a commercial loan? Because we know that with the residential loan, for example, you may have somebody that want to do a duplex, triplex, or even fourplex, and that's under residential, right? So 5 units and up is commercial. So I'm a 25-year-old student, right? I've gotten my fourplex, and I want to transition. I want to get to the next level to a commercial real estate loan. What does that look like?
Well, it's a good question, because that's typically what happens is people end up buying multiple single families, and then they say, okay, this is a lot of work going to different houses, managing all that real estate, when I could actually maybe own one building with multiple tenants and realize a higher return on that investment. So on the commercial side, the difference between commercial and residential is the biggest difference is the down payment.
Okay.
And that's what has been a barrier to entry for a lot of African-American people. Because on the residential side, you all know that there's down payment assistance, there's 3%, 5%, 10% type down programs.
Right.
On the commercial side, there's really none of that. So you're gonna really have to have the equity injection, usually 20 to 25%. Now, if you're buying a building, and a commercial building might be $1 million, that's $200,000, $250,000.
Right.
That cuts out a whole bunch of people when you say, this is what you need to put down. But I think we mentioned earlier about group economics. That's one way to, take a little bite. You take a bite, I take a bite out of the apple. We pool our resources, and now together we can go and get something bigger. So I've seen it happen from, people who have just been able to amass the liquidity to be able to put down through means of, entertainment, sports, professionals, whatever, or, the average person who may partner with, with one of their friends or a group of friends, and they put their money together, pool their resources, and are able to take down a property that way as well.
Yeah, T.I. was telling us about how he partnered with Killer Mike, and he was just like, I asked him, I said, what do you know now, being where you are, that if you would have known earlier, you would have did something differently, right? And the one thing he mentioned is that deal he did with Atlanta Seafood, I believe. Bankhead Seafood, right? And so like him doing that, he said, I wish I would have not been in the mindset of getting 3 properties. I should have been in the mindset of doing group economics with all of these people that I know, trust, and have these resources, and get 30 properties or even 30, apartment complexes. So like, where do you see like generational wealth going in group economics when you're talking about the younger generation?
Well, the reason that the group economic thing has not caught on as much is a trust issue.
Okay.
So it's bigger than the money issue. It's okay, do I trust this brother or this sister enough to go in? You hear, a lot of people, in the music industry especially, there are a lot of different things that are in dispute, money tied up, things like that. So you have to be able to trust whoever you get in business with. So that part of it is the piece that can kind of be a hurdle when you're talking about group economics. That being said, it's the fastest way to get bigger things.
Right.
Because why would I put all of my eggs in one basket when I could put some here, some here, some here, and then diversification. It's like
decrease your risk.
It decreases your risk. It keeps some of the liquidity in your pocket so that if in fact another deal comes to the table, you can invest in that one too, because all of your money isn't all tied up into one product.
That reminds me of like an ETF, like an exchange traded fund or a mutual fund, right? It's invested in multiple things, like even the S&P 500. You're invested in all 500 stocks at one time with the ETF. So like, and I think that's the benefit. It's sometimes maybe hard to kind of pick the winner or have that insight to say this is going to go up with this evaluation. But I love what you said. You're talking about investing a little bit here, and like the totality of it probably provides you with more stability.
Yeah, it's actually like these balls right here.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it looks like a triangle, but it's made up of multiple pieces, individual. That's group economics. If we could all do that and move together, we would we would change our whole economic position in Black America.
So for somebody who's young and say like, I don't have that kind of money, I don't have 20% down, 25% down on commercial real estate. I think that there's value in this $2 million property, but I don't have it. What do you tell them?
Well, I tell them a couple things. One, you may not have the money, but you may have the knowledge. There's a lot of people who have more to offer than money is just one piece. I see deals all the time where I might know commercial real estate. I may know how to work a deal, how to put a deal together. You may be a football player. Your job is to play football.
Right.
You know that very well, but you don't know anything about these deals, how to make money, how to get a deal to the table. So you provide a value to me because I feel comfortable that if I give you my money, this deal is going to work out because you have the expertise. So you can build an expertise in something and then provide that as your leverage into a deal if you don't have the money. I'm looking at a deal right now that is exactly structured just like that. There's an NFL player that has millions of dollars. He wants to do a deal, but he's training. He's playing in the league right now, but he's trying to help his own money grow. So he partners with people that may not have as much money, but they have the knowledge.
Got it. Now, how important for what you do is about that knowledge share, that knowledge transfer, like Citizens Trust and even yourself on a personal note. You're doing so much in the community. How important is that knowledge share?
It's essential because it's a joke in our community. Put it in a book if you want to. If you want to have,
it's like kryptonite.
Yeah. And then because we don't have 400 years of history, where our grandfathers and great grandfathers
were gifted,
and then it was passed down. We our generation, or my parents' generation, might have been the first ones to actually have something to leave other than, let's all throw in some money to bury somebody. So the knowledge transfer is essential because we don't all have it. And so those of us that find it and get it, it is really our duty to give back, to share that knowledge. I call it free game. It's enough money out here for everybody to get it. And the only way we're going to come up together is to share that knowledge. So it's almost essential to do.
I love that. And so this is money in music, right? So I'm going to ask you, from an inspirational business standpoint, is there a particular artist or a lyric that you've heard out there that inspired you and maybe changed your way of thinking, or just something that's motivational?
Well, I mean, just recently, on a Khaled album, he has a song, Sorry Not Sorry, and there's a verse with Nas. He calls himself a cryptocurrency Scarface. Coinbase.
Yeah.
And then also in that same song, Jay-Z says he's an angel investor in things. And so what you're finding is that if you look at the black billionaires that are out there,
right,
all of them have made it via entertainment, and then they leveraged it into business, right? So
LeBron, Space Jam.
You got
Diddy with Ciroc.
Well, I don't even know if Diddy, but you definitely have Jay-Z, right? Yeah. And now you got Kanye. Mm-hmm. He did it with the Yeezys. Now, and then you have what's the sister's name? She has the makeup.
Rihanna.
Rihanna
with
Fenty. So they use their celebrity to get access to deals, and those deals on the business side now have propelled them into the billionaire status. Now, forget the billionaire status. There are people like 50 Cent who years ago did the vitamin water deal, right?
Right.
And then so many who've just gotten into a position where they, get access to a deal. And then, you got folks that have done Avion. You've got folks that have done just so many different other business deals. Mm-hmm. And they just leverage their celebrity to do it. So it's definitely inspirational when you start to see, even in rap, the diversification of the business side of things that has come from just starting, hey, on a corner, rapping, beatboxing, battle rapping. Now I've elevated to the point that I'm sitting around a table in places that I probably would have never been invited to before, and being, talked about or invited into deals that ultimately has turned some of them into billionaires.
Yeah, Eric, I appreciate that, man. You dropped the wealth of knowledge. I love what you're doing over there. I have to tune in a little bit deeper. I have to get into that commercial lending space. That's my next vision, right? I'm gonna get there, but first, man, let's play some pool.
All right, let's see what you got.